Are you a fitness, wellness, or health professional or a coach that has an in person business and you're trying to transition online? Or maybe you're doing a little bit online, but you're wanting to expand and grow more. Are you struggling to have your online income be the equivalent of what your in person business is making? Or maybe you're wanting to go beyond, and that might be an area that's super challenging. This is one of the biggest challenges for being able to grow and expand online. So if this sounds familiar or if you can relate, stay with me because I'm going to talk about, I want to give you some tips about how to make that transition easier and some things that I would recommend that you have in place before you make a complete jump fully online, because I'm not one to make huge financial risks, and I like to have some security and some more or less some sense of guarantee. Nothing in life is guaranteed. And I want to share with you what I was able to do and what I've been able to help a lot of people successfully do to transition to moving partially or 100% online. So if you are new here, if this is your first time, my name is Erica Boling. I am a former associate professor. I worked at a university. I followed my passions and interests, and I was able to successfully create multiple online businesses that were able to generate and bring in more than $2 million with 100% online revenue doing that. And I want to share with you some key things that I think you should consider and things that I found extremely helpful in making that transition. The first thing that I found was 100% essential for me was that I did not want to have a drop in my lifestyle. So if you are transitioning online, you probably can relate. And I'm imagining if you're wanting to grow your business online, you don't want to have a drop in revenue. And you don't want to start having to cut corners and have to reduce your expenses and struggle financially just because you want that freedom to go online. So the first thing that I would recommend to do, if you've not already done it, is to do an audit and look really carefully at your numbers. Look at financially what's happening with where you are right now or what you're wanting. So maybe you already know that you want to do more than what you're doing in person, but that first thing is to make that transition, right? So if you're going to drop some of your responsibilities in person or drop some in-person clients or in-person classes, you want to be able to not lose that money, right? So look at your current situation and do an audit and say, okay, what is the income revenue that's coming in? Where is it coming in from? And if you are, you might be looking at transitioning from like a regular, working for somebody else to working for yourself, is also look at other things that are there with your job that would need to be replaced. So for example, in the United States, where healthcare can be really, really expensive, when I'm working for somebody else, I was working for the university, I had a healthcare plan that was covered, and just a very small percentage of that came out of my paycheck. They paid the lump sum, the majority of that healthcare. But I also had to look at things like the university was also putting money towards retirement. So know the numbers first so that you know that if you're going to stop doing a certain class, if you're going to let go of certain in-person clients, if you're going to be having to buy more resources or replace resources, have those numbers in order and know what that looks like. Then the second thing that you want to do is say, okay, how are you going to generate income online to replace that income that you're doing in person? I find that if you already have some in-person income and in-person kind of maybe a brick and mortar business, personally, I find that a safer way to transition is to do a bit of both at first. So when I was moving and say creating my online business, I was doing both. I did some market research first, right, to see if there's interest. And then I tested it out. And I did that while I was still having my other income coming in. I found that if you're putting that extra time in, but you can see the end in sight and it's not a long-term game, then it makes it worth it and doing something that you're passionate about. So you 100%, you can just take the leap. You can say, you know what, I'm going to do this online thing. I'm going to, stop this other income that's coming in. But me personally, having that regular income coming in from that regular job or that in-person clientele, that gave me an opportunity to develop my skills and to learn about the technology that I was going to be using. So for me, having a transition while you're testing out the market, doing a little bit of market research, you might want to do like a short mini course, start building your following. And that's going to give you an idea to get kind of that proof of concept. Do you have something valid? Do you have something that people want? Do you have a few people already investing in something that you have to offer? And also kind of easing into that transition, it gives you a chance to kind of acquire some of the confidence and the skills to be able to provide and create a program online and also sell a program online. So after you figure out what those numbers are that you need to replace if you're going to be generating income online, know what kind of offer are you going to provide online to get your online clients. And one other way that you might, if you already have clients in person that you're working with and you're not ready to completely let them go, another really, really nice way to transition online is that you do a hybrid model. So for example, let's say you're meeting clients in person and then you start creating a video library for them. And you start creating online resources for them to add value to your in-person offerings that you're doing. So that way you're able to add more value. You're retaining the clients that you already have while you're having the ability to create online content and test it out and actually start using it with people to get feedback, make sure you have something out there that people want. So that is also, I find, a really nice way to kind of ease into transition into going partially or fully online without seeing a big dip in your income, some more security. You're not completely letting go of those in-person clients all at once. So know your numbers, identify who your audience is, and pick one program, one offering that you're going to start with so that you can test it out. So the third step, the third recommendation I have here is once you've done your market research, once you've tested out your concept and you found that you can sell it, you'll get to a point where you need to make a decision. There's only so many hours in the day is where you're going to put all your energy. You might have to make that choice. Are you going to just kind of maintain that hybrid model where you're going to continue with those in-person clients and some online? Or do you want to reach a point where you make that shift where you are 100% online? So there is that kind of balance. We have to decide where you have to kind of let go and then put all your energy and resources into the fully online. So it's kind of individual and up to you if you want to do fully online and at what point are you comfortable enough to kind of let that release go. And then finally, this is a tip for you if you are wanting to make the transition and go 100% fully online. And this is not a recommendation that I would say you do at the beginning. This would be after you already have established yourself online. You already have an established at least one signature program. You already are consistently selling it. You've gone through some cycles of sales. You have that evidence of something that can kind of sustain itself. But what I would recommend if you're wanting to move your business 100% online is to think about how to diversify your income. Again, don't do this too early unless you have people to help you and you can invest in getting help because again, there's only so many hours in the day. So usually at some point in time, you have to either revise the program you're already offering, offer new programs, focus on a different audience. We're looking at the long term. So thinking about diversification of your income and what are other ways that you can have some secondary income sources. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same exact area of what you're offering and teaching. My brother, he has rental houses. He has a regular job and then he has rental houses that, bring in income. Some people, they have a side hobby, like they're a photographer just on the side for fun. And they turn into a secondary income, source from that. What I did, I was doing some stuff where maybe half of my income was helping people in canine fitness. And then I had another half of my revenue was coming in from doing business consulting and business support. I'm actually now have a third branch, and this is years later. So I now have canine fitness, human health and fitness, and business coaching and consulting. But again, this has evolved over the years. But like I said, for me personally, I don't feel comfortable putting all my eggs in one basket. I don't feel like I didn't feel super safe in putting, relying on all my income coming from that one program. But again, be careful because a lot of times people will diversify too early on. Within the first 1 or 2 years of going online, they're creating 2 and 3 and 4 different online programs. So be really, really careful, because if you're doing that, usually what happens is when you're starting out, you don't have the resources, you don't have the extra manpower. And instead of putting the energy and the resources into really marketing and promoting and really pushing and promoting your signature program, you end up spending extra time and hours like doing course creation and doing new programs that you are either not getting revenue at that time, or it's going to take you a lot longer. Then you're like having to spread yourself into marketing 2 and 3 different programs at once. So that is not the way to start. So start with know your numbers, know what kind of income you need to replace your in-person or that you're wanting to grow into. Know exactly what kind of program or programs you can project in the long term and say, maybe if, in the long term, you want 3 key programs, you want a VIP program and you're going to have a secondary audience. Like you can be projecting that and thinking about your long-term goals, but start with your kind of key signature program that you're going to start with. Do your market research, test it out, and get that proof of concept first. And frequently along the way, you probably will find that you're going to need to do some education. You're going to need to do some professional development and learn some new skills yourself. So it might be learning new technologies. It might be learning more about marketing and selling. So if this is something that you are interested in doing and moving from that kind of brick and mortar in-person business model, that one-on-one coaching, you're wanting to move online, or if you've been already attempting to go online but you've been struggling, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Also, feel free to post questions here. If you're looking for some one-on-one support, I have a short little quick questionnaire for you to fill out. If you want to book a time to meet and have a chat, I'd love to hear about and know more about what you're wanting to create or what you are creating right now, and give you some suggestions and some advice and potentially explore some opportunities for working together. So I will put that down below. So I will say it's a journey. Definitely, I would say most probably will be pushing you outside your comfort zone. But if you are open to learning, open to pivoting and readjusting as needed, ongoing professional development when you're going online, things change, things progress quickly, even just the technology itself. So it's not something that you can just go and figure out and then just be stagnant and say, okay, I created it, I'm now good for the next 7 years. But if you like a challenge, if you like to do new things, if you like being creative, if you are really passionate about reaching more people on a bigger level, I find in the end, it was so worth it to have your own business, to have the flexibility of having your business online. It's been an amazing journey, and I hope you got a few tips and some ideas from today. So thank you so much for listening today. Stay tuned. I will be doing more and offering more tips and suggestions for growing your business online. If you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, let me know. I would love to get your ideas, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye for now.